The FBI tried to bury it. Cash Patel tried to spin it. And when I called them out, they unleashed a storm of hate. But that's exactly how you know something bigger is being covered up. So tonight, I'm pulling back the curtain and revealing just how deep this betrayal really goes. It all started with a video I posted just over a week ago. In that video, I revealed how confirmed witnesses were taking down their footage of Charlie Kirk's assassination, all because of a shocking gag order that nobody was supposed to talk about.
So I initially didn't want to delete the video, but I ended up just doing it because apparently all the comments on that video, apparently I'm under a gag order, which I didn't know even existed. And I don't really know what it is still, and I kind of don't want to risk it being bad for me and my family. So I don't think I didn't really say anything too involved with like what the gag order was. I'm pretty sure, but there was one thing I said in the video that was like, they could be mad about that for some reason. So I didn't want to delete it, but I figure it's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'll just delete it. Maybe I can explain it in a different video when the gag order isn't around. But yeah, kind of strange. But yeah, I just decided to delete it because me and my wife were talking about it, and it's just strange.
Now, it's pretty clear why people would stop talking. Nobody wants to get tangled up in a legal nightmare. So my goal was simple: bring attention to this censorship before the truth disappeared completely. But apparently, I said too much. Overnight, that video exploded. Views shot up, comments flooded in, and for a moment, I thought people were finally starting to wake up. But then I noticed something strange. Suddenly, there were dozens of accounts defending Cash Patel and the FBI. They were repeating the same talking points and posting the same lines over and over again. Now, I've dealt with hate campaigns before, but this felt organized. These weren't just random trolls. No, these people, or maybe even bots, were trying to rewrite the narrative in real time. That's when I realized someone really doesn't want the truth to get out. So tonight I'm going to dismantle every one of their lies and show you how this entire investigation was built on deception. But before I do that, you need to understand why I do not trust Cash Patel. Because ever since he stepped into this administration, his words have never matched his actions. And if you've seen what I'm about to show you, you'll understand exactly why.
And I'm not saying take all their funding. I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off.
Of course, he did the exact same thing when he took that private jet to fly out for a date with his girlfriend. And look, normally no one would care, but this is the same guy who spent months criticizing Christopher Wray for doing the exact same thing. And the moment social media started calling him out, he panicked. He immediately fired a veteran agent who oversaw the Bureau's pilots, someone who'd been there for years. Then he went even further, forcing FlightAware, which is a public website that tracks air traffic, to stop monitoring his plane entirely.
Wait, are you kidding me? So Cash Patel, the FBI director, who's taking his private jet to visit his girlfriend to get a piece of ass, has now disabled the tracking on the government jet because people like Kyle Seraphin and myself are calling his ass out. So now he's crying about it. And then to make himself feel better, Kyle says the FBI director fired the guy in charge of the CIRG because the taxpayer-owned jet was traceable by taxpayers. He didn't cry when I was exposing Chris Wray. What a hypocrite. And he literally took his private jet to then go visit his girlfriend and get a piece of ass and cry on her shoulder to make himself feel better.
After that, he released a long statement calling everyone cowards for dragging his girlfriend into the story. But here's the thing. No one cared about his personal life until he made it political. Because while he acts like this was just some private relationship, Alexis Wilkins, his girlfriend, has been very active in politics. Just listen to what she's said in her own interviews.
You and I have talked about the border before. I don't think an American out there, unless there's some wacko lefty, could ever even lie or try to change the story. Joe left it open 4 years. Millions came in. Now thousands that want to do us harm are living amongst us. And thank goodness for Cash and the FBI stopping this one this weekend, but there's going to be more.
Absolutely. You know, this is the thing that we knew would happen with the Biden administration, keeping the borders open, not protecting our homeland, is we knew that we would get illegal immigrants coming in, you know, by the hundreds of thousands. I mean, quite literally, those are the numbers, committing violent crimes against American citizens, doing these horrible things that we see just ever so casually now, unfortunately, in the news. Of course, President Trump and his administration is cleaning up the streets, but that's even one thing. But the thing that I think gets a little bit to be a footnote is the fact that there are sleeper cells here that are planning these horrible attacks, these ISIS-style attacks like we saw thwarted in Michigan this morning. And, you know, this is the stuff that would have just been carried out under the Biden administration. And the fact that the Trump administration and everyone at the leadership level of these organizations are trying to fix it is exactly what we voted for.
She might not be married to the FBI director, but she is using her platform to influence public debate. But the private jet scandal? Well, that's just one piece of a much bigger pattern, because this is not the first time Cash Patel has broken his promises to the American people. And if you've been following closely, you already know what I'm talking about.
Well, the Epstein Black Book, like on day one. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list?
Not only has he refused to release the so-called Black Book, but he's also gone on record claiming that Jeffrey Epstein had no clients. Think about that. The man who once blamed Bill Gates for his ties to Epstein is now pretending that no clients ever existed.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
If that's true, then why did billionaire Leon Black quietly pay $62.5 million to the U.S. Virgin Islands government just to end an investigation into his role in Epstein's trafficking network? Doesn't really sound like no clients now, does it? Now, as for Charlie Kirk's investigation, let's clear up a few things right away. I've seen a lot of comments saying the gag order was just there to protect the integrity of the trial and the investigation, which, by the way, is exactly what Cash Patel has been saying also.
And that's incredible. Is there more evidence that you guys can offer to people, maybe video from that roof? Do you expect that there will be more to be released?
I think the best thing we can do for Charlie, especially me as FBI director and our team, is to prosecute this case in the courts of law where it is. But I'm not going to allow the Charlie Kirk prosecution to be dismantled because we want to get over our skis and publicize information. That is the one thing you cannot do. We will make everything public in court.
But here's the problem. If that's really the case, why is the FBI going around pressuring people to delete their videos?
So originally when I sent this video in to the FIB for tips, I thought I was doing a service and, to Charlie and helping out. So it started off where I got in contact, was talking to someone at the local field office there in my local state. And then it jumped up a few levels. Then I was talking to someone on like the national level. That person had called me back and they had said, because this was your friend, I think it's best that you erase the video from your phone because it's just going to give you PTSD, and then called it another time to ask if I had erased it. That was the first time that I felt like it was even right to post these videos. That was on my other account that was gone and just was removed after 5 years of building it. But so I got a call back and was asked to confirm that it was gone. And again, that's when I started sharing, posting, and saving on many different hard drives in many different places. It's been crazy. It's been rough.
Since when does protecting integrity mean silencing witnesses and erasing evidence from social media? And if they were so concerned about keeping the trial airtight, why did they release those obviously fake-looking text messages?
Roommate, I thought they caught the person, Robinson. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down.
It's obvious why. Their story was not adding up and they needed something, anything, to make it sound like Tyler Robinson had a motive. But the irony? Those same texts are going to destroy their case because the inconsistencies are everywhere, which honestly feels like it might be part of the plan. Now, another thing I pointed out in my video, and this part really blew people's minds, is how the FBI somehow managed to trace witnesses using facial recognition, but could not find anything about the shooter himself.
So the dude called me and he's like, hey, is this Chance? And I was like, yeah. Found you on our records, like facial recognition or something that you like might have been at the Charlie Kirk assassination event. And I was like, yeah, that's me. It was like probably like 2 weeks after the actual event for timeline. I was like, yeah, man, like I was there. And he's like, yeah, what we would like to have you do is come down to the station, and get like a verbal statement and a written statement from you, like an official statement. Yeah. I was just like, yeah, man, like I'd love to help.
Some people tried to explain this away, saying maybe the shooter took a stealthy route to the roof, but that theory falls apart instantly. We have multiple videos and photos of the alleged shooter, both inside and outside UVU. And remember, the UVU campus is loaded with security cameras everywhere. So if the FBI really wanted to, they could have tracked his every move within minutes. But instead, they're focusing their tech on witnesses, the very people who are just trying to share what they saw. And that's why it just seems like they're trying to silence anyone who can destroy their narrative. Also, why are so many people repeating the same lines, saying they didn't see the shooter and they can't speculate about it? Sure, I wasn't there, but the police and the FBI did have a witness who spoke directly to the shooter and even led them to the rifle's location. And when you hear what that witness said, you'll understand exactly why so many of us believe this is a cover-up.
We met an electrician working near the university who says someone matching that description approached a co-worker at this job site.
He had black sunglasses, he had a black COVID mask, he had a black trench coat, black cargo pants, and he was wearing a small backpack, and he also had long, greasy black hair. The guy said, "Someone's been shot."
Looking back on it, did that person think that was the shooter now?
The guy was already trying to leave. And so we were then shown a picture by the sheriff at the time, and the excavator said that it matched.
Clearly, Tyler Robinson doesn't even match that description at all. And that's just one of the many red flags in this case. Go through just a few of my videos and you'll see why trusting the authorities here makes no sense. Yet somehow people keep saying just wait for the official verdict. Folks, if the FBI sticks to its usual pattern, we won't see real evidence for decades. And that's exactly why I've been speaking out against their attempt to remove cameras from the courtroom. And the most shocking part, even Erica Kirk has now made similar demands.
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear. We deserve to have cameras in there. Why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
Now, she keeps talking about this unfair spotlight on her, and I think most people know what she's talking about. That Turning Point USA event, where her demeanor, and especially the way she interacted with Vice President J.D. Vance, did not sit right with a lot of people.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President J.D. Vance.
I think she's realized that staying quiet won't help her anymore, and maybe that's the one thing she's gotten right, because silence has protected too many people for way too long. So let me ask you, what do you think about her behavior? Totally normal or the exact opposite?